Hey, it's me, Puppet DM, and I'm here to tell you all about the sponsors we have here at the Wandering Society. We're sponsored here by Mage Hand Press, makers of a bunch of 5th edition supplements, like the Book of Kobold or their series of new classes. And don't forget, Arcmada, the amazing sci-fi fantasy campaign setting for the world's greatest role-playing game. Be sure to check them out at store.mageandpress.com. Up next, we have Roll20. It's the platform we use here at the Wandering Society to play all of our games. It's easy to use, intuitive, and it now comes with dark mode. Be sure to check them out at roll20.net. We're also sponsored by Art Talsorian Games. Art Talsorian Games make great RPGs, and they've been doing so since the early 90s. Check their books. They've got Cyberpunk Red, which Simon tells me has been played here extensively, Castle Falkenstein, which also has been played here, and The Witcher, which has also been. Okay, we get it! Check them out at your FLGS or online at rtalsoriangames.com. Have you ever wanted to wake up and smell the coffee? Well, now you can with this next sponsor, Found Familiar. Get yourself some damn good coffee at foundfamiliar.com and use the code on the screen to get 15% off. What do you mean I can't drink coffee? What the fuck is felt? And we couldn't end this segment without talking about our good friends at Die Hard Dice. That's right. As a Dice affiliate, we are proud to partner with Die Hard Dice to bring you only the best in shiny click-clacks. Click-clacks? What is... Ow. You can check their ever-growing collection over at dieharddice.com and use the link below to get 15% off. You're putting this all on me? I better get a cut. Every time. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Scion, Birth of the New Gods. We are currently at episode 41. I am Simon at Wandering DM. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be the Fates for today's game. Before we delve back into our adventure and where we left off last time, 2 weeks ago, let's just go around the table, introduce the cast and their characters, beginning with, I'll go bottom row on the overlay because right now she is alone because Finbar isn't here this week. Lynn, hi, how are you, and who are you playing?
Hey, doing good. I'm Lynn, Grimlet Art, she, they, and I am playing Dihiga, daughter of Anari, she, her.
And going up On the overlay, we'll go around counterclockwise, so we'll start with Hannah. Hi, how are you and who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Hannah, Animation Art, she, her, and in this game I play Kieran, a son of Loki, he, him.
And last but not least, Renee. Hi, who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Renee Rhodes, she, her pronouns for me, and for Morning, my character, the Scion of the Morrigan, who is trying her best to be a warrior queen and being consistently thrown off by the world around her.
And so to pick back where we left off, imagine this scene, if you will. Imagine not hearing any music. What the hell? That is strange. Can anyone hear music?
Yeah, I can hear it. Do you have Roll20 muted?
Oh, yes, I have Roll20 muted. Of course. Thank you. So, imagine, if you will, a group of young godlings. Well, young in the sense of came into their powers. On the edge of this forest, near a beach, where are landed several Viking longships in various states of rot and decay. There is a camp on the beach. Fur tents have been hastily put up while campfires are roaring, cooking. Some of the people that inhabit this island. One of the Scions broke off from the rest of the group to set fire to the Viking longships while the others were sneaking their way away. As they did so, they made noise or made their presence known. Just as the ships caught fire, the attention of the giants, because yes, those who pitched camp on the island are these tall, 10, 12 feet tall, emaciated humanoids that seem like they've died at sea, centuries ago. And their attention, the giants' attention, was split between the intruders and the burning ships. But when they turned around to see who burnt their ship or who was causing this chaos, one of the godlings did everything in his power to, keep their attention on him. To the point where they began kneeling in front of him and ignoring the intruders completely. The intruders, Morning, Dee, Finbar, and the warrior queen Boudica, have just remained... and JD, of course. Have just remained by the edge of the trees, looking at this strange scene. Now, we know that these giants have been raiding, murdering, and pillaging the island, which is part of the Tuatha De Danan's underworld, the Irish underworld. And yet, right now, they're not interested at all in the people that might have infiltrated their camp, but more interested by the lone figure standing in the water. Or on, well, I think it's in, because you need to walk, right, to walk on water? Like if you... Oh,
I'm
no,
standing on the water.
You're always standing on it.
It's the ice freezing beneath his feet.
Yeah. And so we'll pick right back up where we left off, with some more of the Fomoris kneeling down. And just... You hear mutterings of, it's him. It's a sign. It's a sign from him.
Yes, it's a sign from me. Your god. Say my name.
And one of the like the closest Fomori, the one that was fishing, remember, with the big bear,
Mm-hmm.
gets up and walks a few paces in the water. He doesn't get very close to you, like not within arm's reach. I mean, not even a giant's arm reach. And he says, "We know you are not a god, but you are his messenger. We can feel in you. We can sense him. The All-Father, Loki."
Now, what makes you so sure that I'm not Loki?
Give me that roll.
What role
Before
is
I
that?
give you an answer, give me that manipulation and no, you know what? Presence and subterfuge.
Okay.
Because right now it's just raw charisma. Like
Oh, hey. That's the-
2.
2 successes, and they I had that here. It was 5 dice.
Can I
oh
also
my God.
use my deception purview?
Oh, what does it do?
It says other characters face a +3 complication on all empathy rolls and assess attitude rolls against you.
Yes. So they need 5 successes on their 5 dice, which is a whopping
Good.
0. And so the fisherman just pauses for a moment. Oh. Clever. Hiding yourself from the puny inhabitants of this island. Brothers! And he turns around to the others. He is the All-Father. And like many of them just get back up, take their weapons, and like lift them up high and like roar / shout.
Mm-hmm. That's right, it's me, Loki. All who hail me should kneel, and all who don't should leave this place. Now!
And one of the giants that's like a little bit more like in the back of the crowd, like closer to the other godlings, just cups his hands and shouts, "But my god, what do we do with the intruders?" And he points
Leave
to-
them! They're of no consequence to me, mighty Loki.
And he just picks up like a to him it's a pebble, to you it's a rock. Like baseball style, like softball sized. And he just like casually throws it at the rest of the godlings and shouts like,
Mm-hmm.
"Shoo! Be gone! Leave us!" The pebble, the rock, lands like about like a foot or so before you in that part of the land, you know, where the soil sort of meets the sand of the beach. And it just lands there. What are you doing?
I mean, that sounds fine to me. I don't know. It's fine.
Around.
I'm just gonna go past them. Just kind of nod and smile. There's definitely a distinct break of character in Morning's like tough warrior queen facade as she just kind of like smiles confused at them and waves and they leave.
Boudica grunts something along the lines of, "We could have used this diversion." But you can see that even her, like, isn't really too much into the idea of rushing at an entire camp of Fomori with just the 5 of you. But there's definitely a part of, you know, the kind of like Morning, the persona that she needs to, the image that she needs to exude. That conflicts with her best interest, or her survival instincts, I should say. So the 5 of you, or the 4 of you, I should say, leave. I figure you head towards the like Talison's refugee camp on the beach. Okay.
That's the plan. And I think after hearing Boudica, Morning says something to Dee on their way that's like, this is the best strategic move, right? Looks at Dee and JD for help.
Well, I think it's the best we have. Whatever Kieran's doing over there seems to be working for him.
Yeah, what happened?
I don't really know, but they're not ripping him to shreds, so they're bowing.
We'll
That's
take it.
good.
Yep, probably a good sign. We'll ask when he catches up with us.
Just keep an ear out just in case. If it goes bad, it's probably gonna be loud, so if we need to run back.
Of course. We've still got his back.
JD is sort of trailing behind, trying to get as much of the show as possible. He seems to find it hilarious. Kieran. They seem to all be, now that the intruders are gone, they seem to just look at you and wait with like bated breath. You're next. Divine edict or something.
Now, tell your god, because I am so incredibly busy that I have so many things to keep track of, how you came here and what your purpose is here in this particular underworld.
Don't you remember?
I just told you I'm incredibly busy.
Why? We took it upon ourselves to plunder this place. It is rich in food and stuff. And we were going to bring it back home. And of course, mighty Loki, sacrifice part of it in your name.
So you can just do that and you can just leave your underworld. That don't seem right. Is that something that I gave you permission to do?
No, mighty Loki. We took it upon ourselves. We shown initiative.
All right, well, listen, get the initiative, take that same initiative. I want you to get back on these boats and I want you to return to my underworld where you came from.
But...
All right.
And again, like the one in the back, because I think I'll keep it, like the guy in the back is the one that has the questions. But, mighty Loki, our home, what you call the underworld, though I don't really get it, it's not under anything. Anyway.
Are you questioning Loki?
No, my god, no.
Okay.
It's just, we are dying. And like the fisherman turns around and just like shoots like that death glare at that like questioning Fomori. And just replies, I told you we do not speak of this.
No, wait.
Show
now speak
no
of what?
weakness.
No. Show weakness. What's going on?
That seems to just break his entire mind. Like, but, Mighty Loki, you're the one who told us that we should be prepared for war at all times. That we should cast away doubt and fear.
Sure, right, of course. You should be prepared at all times, but that doesn't mean that you can't, talk it over as a crew.
Talk it over.
Yeah, tell me, what's going on? What's happening?
It's freezing, Mighty Loki. The whole world is freezing. And like you realize, kind of like the people in the garden, they're all dead.
Mm-hmm.
But probably just like the people in the garden, they might not know that. Like they might still have this this like remnant of like their past lives where they need to eat. They need shelter. They need, to some extent, they need to raid.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And the fisherman just interrupts guy in the back. No need to concern yourself with this, Mighty Loki.
Oh, no, I'm concerned. Like, look, I love a good raid as much as anybody else, but don't you think we should keep it to our own sort of like atmosphere, our own little environment where they expect this kind of thing? It seems sort of unfair to attack other people's underworlds where they're not prepared for this sort of thing, don't you think? You don't want to be bullies, do you? You want to raid on even footing, a good fight, right?
Hearing trying to rewrite the entire Viking culture in 5 minutes. The
Listen,
fisherman,
I got a 5.
The fisherman looks at you and goes, "But that's the whole point of raiding. These puny morsels don't defend themselves. They're tiny and unarmed, and some of them are even naked."
Right, yeah. But where's the fun in that?
We can smash their bodies against the stones and the trees.
Why do you want to smash? Are you followers of me, or are you followers of my big lug of a brother? Now, come on now. If this was Thor, you're sounding exactly like Thor. He's the one who comes in with the big hammer and smashes everything up and takes advantage of the people weaker than him. We're supposed to be the smart ones, eh? Right?
He's the party pooper.
But Thor guided our ships here.
Thor guided your ships here.
With light from the
So
heavens.
you're following Thor now, is that what I'm hearing? You've turned on your god and you're following my big bully of a brother.
No, Mighty Loki. It's just...
This is what I get. I disappear for 5 minutes on you and you follow my brother into the unknown to bully a bunch of other people who can't defend themselves. These are my followers, are they?
I apologize. Mighty Loki. And like he like what is it, prostrate himself?
Mm-hmm.
Like in front of you. Like hands, like arms outstretched. Please spare me your wrath, Mighty Loki. It's been a hard few time.
Okay.
A long time.
Well, if you want me to spare you my wrath, my just wrath, I want you all to get back in your boats and go back to my underworld and learn how to fend for yourselves. Intelligently. Learn to ice fish. You'll be fine.
Ice fishing.
Yeah.
I remember ice fishing.
Well, you should. This bloke over here knows how to do it. He was just fishing a second ago.
No, I'm the fisherman.
Oh, well,
Sorry,
excuse
we
me.
all have the same voice.
You all look very similar to me.
The producer didn't have enough budget to hire multiple voice actors. We're just reusing lines.
It's fine.
Hey, Loki, what do we do with the intruders?
I thought you let him go. What are you doing? You're just holding on to them there.
He's just repeating old lines.
Oh, okay.
But mighty Loki, how are we to go back home when you have burnt our longships, our drakars, in anger? And like as he says that, there's like one of the longships that just finally sinks, and the fire
Only
is
one
just
of them
spread.
sinks.
Well, the first one sinks, but the fire is spread to others. Because you shoved that ship against,
You
like,
did.
you pushed it
Yeah,
against
I
the
did.
others.
You
Yeah.
did
Now-
push the ship.
Yeah, and now you've just been talking to them as like this blazing inferno takes place behind you. It's all very epic, but like, yeah, they don't have a way back home.
This is truly an excellent reveal after our very strategic move to burn their ships.
Smash cut to the ships.
You see like a mast just like fall into another ship. It's like, oh.
Creaking and screaming as it does.
Oh, y'all got plenty of wood here, right? You can rebuild ships.
And he looks at the forest and he's like, despoiling these petty creatures of their wood. Yes, it's like a raid, and then we go home.
Exactly, you're raiding their lumber. There you go. Now you're thinking with your head instead of with your hammer, like my brother.
And then the questioning one again says, oh, mighty Loki. The puny ones, they've already cut down a lot of wood. They made a palisade over there. We can use this to build our ships. Brothers! And like
No,
they're
no,
already
no, no, no.
scrambling. Yeah, go ahead.
Now, what is this palisade that he's referring to? Is this where the rest of the party
points,
is headed?
Yeah, he points where the rest of the party
Okay,
is
no.
headed.
No. You leave that alone. That's theirs, remember. You're not to attack them.
But
We're thinking. We're creating. We're making our own ships.
raid.
No. No raiding. No raiding. Smart thinking. Remember, trickster god. This is why you choose to follow me, eh?
We follow you because you are the blood from which we hail.
Right. Trickster blood.
Oh, like the Scalds.
Scouts?
Scalds. Skalds.
Right, yeah. So no, they've already ruined that wood by cutting it down and shaving it down and using it for their own purposes. If you try to reuse that wood, it'll not be as strong. You should cut down the trees and use the wood straight from the source. Much stronger.
Brothers, you have heard mighty Loki. Ruin their wood.
Yes,
Cut
ruin their
everything
wood.
down.
Oh, okay.
And they just take up arms, and instead of, they charge like with a battle cry at the tree line, and then just stop and start hacking away at the trees.
I'm gonna make haste and follow the party if I can.
Can you give me we're gonna have one last roll though. One last persuasion, present subterfuge.
Okay.
And you cannot add, it's not a lie though in this case. It's, oh
That's
my
fine.
god.
Oh,
I got a
no.
Yeah. You leave,
Oh,
and
there
like you can
go.
hear the giant still talking to you,
Mm-hmm.
but like his back is turned to where you were because he's looking at the rest of the giants just hacking away at the wood. And he says something along the lines of, mighty Loki, would you care to stay for a feast in your name? But then by then you're, gone. He's like, mighty Loki.
I'm gonna leave in my stead, and this is my last legend that I can imbue here. Except, oh, it's imbue, so I can just use one that I had been imbuing before. I'm gonna cast an ephemera and leave an image of myself where I was standing for as long as it'll stay there.
Yeah, so the giant like asks you to stay for a feast and then goes on to talk about like marital issues at home.
Mm-hmm.
And by then you're out of earshot, and I think what's the range on ephemera?
It must remain within its boon's range, a non-trivial character, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, range medium.
Range medium, okay.
So medium is basically half a football field. So it's like, what is it, like 60, 70 yards?
Okay, so I can, that will serve me until I'm like far enough away that it won't be a problem.
Yeah, you're almost at the camp when that illusion finally dissipates.
Okay.
Everyone else. You make your way down the beach, or along the beach, I should say, up to this hastily built palisade. They basically just took trees, chopped down the branches, left most of the trunks intact, and tried to tie them together to form like a circular wall. There is no gate in itself. It's sort of like this like snaking entrance. And you notice a moat. Their best effort at a moat was dug out around the palisade, and sharpened wooden stakes were placed in. There's a few giants that are still impaled on the stakes, and they're still moving. Very slowly, but they're still trying to like climb out of... They don't seem to be able to do anything. They're not strong enough to do anything, but they will probably suffer forever. And there's a thin plume of smoke coming from somewhere within the palisade. It's not guarded. It doesn't have watchtowers that you can see. And you can hear quite a lot of voices. You figure the camp that you found Boudica in was much larger, maybe twice the size of this one. When you finally enter within the palisade, one, you will see that there's like these like elevated platform that are hidden from the outside that probably would be used by like archers or slingers to like defend against the giants. Otherwise, inside are just these kind of like the giants' tents, like hastily pitched fir tents, or some buildings are actually made of probably the cast-off branches of all the trees that they cut down. They're sheds more than homes, more than shelters. They have a fire pit going in the center of their camp. Not really for warmth, more like out of reflex, because the gardens are perpetually just... I wouldn't say warm, they're not cold either. They're just like a cool summer day. You don't really need a fire, but they have one nonetheless. Probably just like the giants out of like pure, remnants of their mortal lives. And by the fire, sitting on a sizable log, is Taliesin the Bard, who's just talking to like a small crowd of gathered souls. Of course, the moment you come in, if you want to do anything...
Oh yeah, I mean, the second I see him, I call out to him and run towards him.
He bolts upright, and it takes like a second for him to realize that, you're back, that you're you. And then he also runs, jumps over the fire, and just runs, like beelines for morning, and will grab you in like a bear embrace and be like, I thought I had lost you forever. I never thought you would come back.
What?
Why did you do that?
Because this is home?
Yes, I sorry, so many things happened since we last saw each other.
You remember my companions, and I'll just do like a quick introduction of them again.
Yeah, he looks at everyone and like nods, and he's genuinely happy to see you all back. And then he sees Boudica and just like cocks an eyebrow. I thought we weren't good enough for you. And she replies, someone had to bring these outsiders safe here. And, any enmity that Taliesin might have towards Boudica just melts away as he says, thank you for bringing me my daughter. But, and then, he will sort of hold Morning by, like, the shoulder and, like, just push her back a bit to get a good look at you and just ask, but Morning, how did you get past all the giants?
Well, so they started bowing to a friend of mine who hopefully should be here soon, provided nothing went wrong. Kieran, you remember Kieran?
Yes, he looks back at the rest of the group and says, yes, I remember. But he is not with you. He's with the giants?
Giants on the shore.
Yeah, so we did send Kieran to burn down their ships.
And that's when he finally looks over the palisade to this wall of smoke from beyond. He's like, I thought that it smelt like something burning more than the fire, but I thought it was my imagination. Look, everyone! Their ships are burning! And he points to the smoke, and despite their desperation, all the souls here just look at the smoke and just cheer, clap, and some even embrace and do a little dance. It's like if all of their troubles were now gone for a split moment. I don't have much as a host here, but come with me. The rest of the people will want to see their saviors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Looking at right at Morning. Yeah. Huh? Saviors.
What?
And yeah, he brings all of you to like the campfire. People are ecstatic, and they just bombard you with questions. How many of them did you kill? What did you do? And are the others safe? Like, there's a lot of questions, especially about like the other camps. They seem to have not heard of some of them, and like there's one that asks about the like Black Pine camp, Summer Oak camp. There's another one, Flat Rock. Like, what has happened to them? Have you been there? What word do you bring of these places?
Simon, was Summer Oak where we were?
So Summer Oak was the one that was destroyed. The one that Angus told you.
Right. I do remember. Okay.
Black Pine was where you met Boudica, but the others
Gotcha. We don't recognize.
No. Apparently, with like the amount of camps that they talk about, there might be like 8 of them. Maybe more if they've never talked about them, but like that they recognize 8 camps, and it's like they're all named after, you figure, like some geographical feature of the area around itself, around the camp.
So, I think the more people are talking, the more morning starts to get overwhelmed. And she's just trying to like hold a conversation together.
Mm-hmm.
I there may be some misunderstanding. We have just arrived.
So we don't know. They don't know. Have you met the fire? Have you seen the thing in the fire and the smoke? Did you fight it? Did you kill it?
No.
And
But I will.
Taliesin just like he stays like just like a foot behind you, and he mutters just loud enough for you to hear. No one here has been able to get close to the thing in the fire. They don't know what it is. I think I know, but I'll tell you later.
Can you all tell us? I will share what news I have. I can speak to the fates of Black Pine and Summer Oak. I do not know the fates of the rest of your camps.
Even though some people are dejected by that answer, they all like sit down, form a circle around you, and just wait for you to tell them what you know.
I'll relay what news I have. Tell them of Summer Oak's destruction and of Black Pine's victory, led in part by Boudica herself, and of our journey here and the destruction of the Fomorian ships and their apparent allegiance to my companion. But please, if we are to win, we need more information than we have. We came from another realm and honestly had very little information of what had happened here.
There's an older, quite older, you figure like maybe like late 80s, man who speaks up. He's dressed in, we'll call them grandpa clothes. Like it's modern, but from, a few decades ago. He says, I was at Dunkirk. I remember the war. And this is nothing like it. The enemy is just... I don't know how to describe it. It's like it was the wind. It's like we're fighting the wind. The giants I can get. The giants we can fight. But that thing in the woods... I don't know what it is. And, another one. A younger... You figure... Probably 16, 17. similarly dressed, says, "Well, I told you, it's a Balrog. It's like in the book, yeah?" And the old man just like shuts him up, going like, "You and your fantasy stories. These aren't true. There's nothing such as a Balrog. That's just fancy." Taliesin again will just repeat, they don't, and they can't know. Friends, would you mind if I borrowed our esteemed guest for a moment? Or guests, I should say. I'll bring them back to you and they can answer all of your questions about the other camps, but there are some things I need to fill them in first. And as he says that, the lone figure of Kieran finally
Good.
enters the
I was gonna
camp.
ask.
Yeah. Taliesin, without a word, will just motion for you to follow. And he will bring you to the most remote tent possible. Like, it's the most remote probably because it is like 10 feet away from other tents.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've got Kieran, so you don't care about it. But had you not have Kieran, you'd have to be careful, about what you say, because anyone around you could still hear you, nonetheless. So he brings you in this very kind of cramped tent. Inside, there's a few, like, sorry, bundles of like reeds, of firewood. There's some rope. There are like a few hastily made like stone axes. It looks very primitive, but no one in the garden ever really needed weapons, and you get the feeling that unless someone was buried with them, like proper warriors, they don't have any. I mean, it's not like the old man who fought in World War II ever, was buried with his rifle and brought it with him in the garden. And so Taliesin waits for everyone to be crammed in. And his expression, sours very quickly.
Morning's shoulders just kind of drop too. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to hold it together and be strong and powerful and knowledgeable, and I have no clue what's going on. We just learned things maybe a day ago. The last we'd heard was when we spoke to you a few months ago at your grave, and
It's all right. Look. All of you, are not responsible for what's happening here. I don't know what is. But whatever you're doing on your side, you keep doing that. Here, well, it's an whole other matter. How can I put this delicately? Everything is disappearing. It's not just us. And he looks at Boudica, who's just hanging by the edge of the tent, by the entrance. He points to her. You know what I'm talking about. And she just scoffs and doesn't say anything, but you can see in her face that, like, it hurts. And she's bracing herself for probably hearing once again about, something that happened. He said there's an entire... Well, you know about the underworld, right? You are familiar with the Greek myths of this world dedicated to the dead. You know about the garden. But the rest of you, underworlds used to be separate. I don't know much about it. But what I do know is that these giants should have never been here. And actually, Boudica and her people should not have been here. Something happened. I don't know what. And he mostly looks at Boudica when asking that, as if expecting her to answer. But I saw your mother on her chariot morning. And she brought a lot of refugees here. Of course, she would not speak to me. But it seems that whatever afterlife the goals were, and their descendants were promised, doesn't exist anymore.
Wait, you saw my mother?
From afar. She doesn't have a, how do you call this in modern parlance? She doesn't have a restraining order against me, but it is your mother. It's unwise for me to approach.
How long ago was this?
Time works in strange fashions here. To me, I feel like it might have been months. To you, could have been a day, could have been years. But no, not years. Because it was after we last spoke. Not so long after we last spoke.
That is helpful. I will look very meaningfully at my companions, because as I have relayed to them from my last conversation with my mother, she has been trapped and unable to leave her prison.
She brought us all of these people. And from what some of our spies and scouts have reported, the giants are also scared of something happening in their home.
They said that the world was iced over, that they were starving.
They're not the brightest of the bunch, I'll give them that. They don't need to eat. But still, in some capacity, it seems that even the Norse afterlife is freezing over, or part of it. I am not well versed in that. All of the islands have been disappearing. Either sunk or lost to the mists. And now we have to contend with this fire and smoke. And while you have your mother to thank for that, I can actually see what it is.
What is it?
That kid earlier wasn't completely wrong. Though I have no idea what a Balrog is. I know who Balrog is. Baelor, actually, is, but This is a being that's like you. Like the son of Baelor. It is something that none of us here can deal with. Most of us, and I think if it wasn't for some of your mother's divinity rubbing off on me, I would not be able to see it either. And, like, without a role, y'all remember what happened in India with the Rakshasa. The fact that the diggers, the archaeologists over there, like, they couldn't do anything. They couldn't fight it off. They couldn't even see it.
Mm-hmm.
But you could.
And I at this point, I think, send another meaningful look, this time specifically in Finbar's direction.
Finbar could explain that Baelor never had children. In myths, Baelor had an army of Fomori. Now, the, sort of probably more plausible version of the myth is that Baelor was probably the like a king, a ruler, or whoever who hired, a bunch of Viking mercenaries to attack Ireland, and was defeated, or maybe it was a traitor and was defeated and all that. But as we all know, humans have a tendency to mundanify what actually happened. Baelor is not a god. He's what you would consider a titan. A primal force, a primordial force that exists for just one purpose. Like, he's not endowed with thinking like you do. With sort of the ability to evolve in a way and to change. But Finbar says, along that same vein, Fenris never had any sons or daughters. Probably a litter of wolf monsters. But
Look at Ulfar.
But Ulfar existed. Mind you, Ulfar, you all remember, like, humans interacted with him. I mean, he had an entire board of executives with him. He might not have been as alien as the son of Baelor, or the spawn,
primordial,
or as
perhaps?
primordial. Yeah, so maybe that's why humans could interact with them. Maybe this one is just so much closer to its progenitor that only those with an ounce of divinity can do anything. And you notice as Finbar, sorry Finbar, I didn't do the accent, explains that, like, Boudica gets progressively angrier. And just leaves the tent altogether. JD took a stick and he's just, like, playing in the sand with it. And he's, like, the moment that Finbar finishes his explanation, JD picks up and says, yeah, we used to call them Titan spawns. It's a fancy word, but it's just easier to talk about them that way. Oh no, my notes! What's her name? Madeline and I, we hunted a few. That lion that you have at home, that was one of them.
Oh.
So some of them aren't nothing more than vermin, if you will. You go in, you do what you have to do, you do what you have to do, and then you leave, and that's it. And eventually some of them come back. and you do it all over again. It doesn't mean that they're not extremely dangerous. Can y'all give me just a second?
Pretty bleak. One of them vermin was my nephew.
I get the sense that there's a lot of variation between them. Like, I don't think
Oh yeah,
whatever
no.
we're dealing with is vermin. This is like dealing
Yeah,
with something
nobody said
big.
that the children of the gods were all human.
We can fight it, though, right? Whatever it is, we took down Ulfr. We can take down a child of Baelor, too.
I'd like to see it first, at least to see what it
Yeah,
is
at
that we're up
least
against.
Seeing
To correct
next
you,
to
Kieran.
nothing.
Sorry. To correct you,
That's
Kieran. Not all children of gods are human.
That's what
Choppa.
I said.
Choppa
Yeah.
is not, yeah.
I said not all humans
not, I
are
heard
children.
all.
My God, I have so many animals that are my brothers and sisters.
I mean,
Like,
he partially.
I also did mishear you, but I
Oh.
just like.
oh no,
kept
that was the
going.
joke. The joke was that my brother's a horse. No,
Yes.
It's very funny now that you explain it, and I hear the part that I missed.
Yeah, so they're dangerous. Now, I agree with you that we should be very careful.
Where can we find it?
Taliesin replies, it's roaming the island. The old man wasn't so far off when he said that it was like the wind. It seems to just move randomly. It doesn't seem to have a purpose.
It doesn't have a purpose, but does it have anything that draws it to specific things? Like, does it seem to appear at certain times when somebody's doing something, or
It's always here. I can tell you, though, that it will go after people if it sees them.
It's a good.
How are there any
Something.
signs that it's close? Smoke.
There's no smoke. There is smoke, but it seems to be contained around itself.
Light.
Light, yes. You will feel the temperature getting progressively warmer.
Warmth.
Oh, and tremor. That thing is heavy.
All right. All right.
Now on to the bad news.
oh, that was the good news.
I'll call it the
Well,
worst
cool.
then.
Okay.
I don't want you to fight it.
I'm sorry, what?
Everything is disappearing, one by one. If you are here when the garden disappears, all of you, you're gone. And right now, whatever it is that is causing this, I don't believe it originates from the underworlds. I think it comes from your side. If
Our
you
side.
all disappear with us, then there is no hope for anybody else.
But why? I can't leave you.
I know.
Maybe we. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
Maybe we can. It comes from our side, right? Do you think we could tempt it back to our side to fight it there?
Maybe. But things are disappearing separately of the fire.
Oh, separately.
I think we all have our doom. Some, it's everlasting winter. Ours, I mean, just seems fitting that a garden filled with plants and vegetation would burn to the ground. The goals... He looks at the entrance of the tent, because Putika's not there anymore. He says, the goals, I don't know about them. No one has told us what happened. But if you are here, if you are on this island when it disappears, I don't know how it's going to happen. I just know that if it goes, everyone on it goes as well. And if you're on it, then you're all gone.
I understand what you are saying. And I would like a moment to speak with my friends, please.
He nods, gets up and leaves the tent. And you see, like, he walks all the way back to the campfire. Like, he's not even gonna try to eavesdrop.
I hate to say it, but I understand his point. If all of the underworlds are affected and are being affected by something in our realm, what good does staying here do?
Honey, I'm sorry we came back and this is the answer that we got. I can't think of, like, other than leave. Is there anything we can do for them? Like,
I have some ideas. I thought that fighting the threat here would help. But it's worse than I could have imagined. Kieran, what happened?
How do you mean?
With the bowing and the ships on fire and the...
Oh,
coming back in one piece.
they thought I was Loki. Well, they thought I was a messenger of Loki, and then I convinced them that I was Loki.
I mean,
So now they think I'm Loki, and I convinced them to make some more ships and head back home. But now I'm sort of worried that I've sent them straight into Ragnarok.
I don't think any of the places that they're here or that they're coming from are going to be any safer for...
Well, the
anyone.
Balrog is a creature of fire, is it not?
That's what they said.
What if we could tempt it back to my underworld and fight it at a disadvantage for it? Take it away from here. And if, Ragnarok is already hit wherever they're come from.
I wouldn't mind an advantage.
Yeah. Aside from the whole disappearing thing, having a rampaging monster around isn't going to help.
Right. The more souls that are killed, the fewer stand a chance if we take care of whatever happens in our world.
Yeah.
They're just gone.
Yeah.
But Okay. Slight tabling of, let's say we find a different way to take care of this Balrog.
Mm-hmm.
The Fomori and the people here need to stop fighting. And I know that fighting is kind of like my thing. But every time one of them dies and they're not ready to make peace with that here, they don't pass on, they disappear. There's no positive outcome for either party if they continue to fight. There may not be for them to go home either.
Yeah, because now they don't get to go on whatever path after death happens. It's just nothing. That can't be good for whatever keeps all this going, right?
Oh, Valhalla's supposed to be about raiding and drinking and fighting and just having a general good time, but it's not supposed to be about raiding other people's afterlives. That's just not part of the plan. They were brought here out of desperation, but this place is no better. And they didn't tell you anything about what it is in our world that's making all this happen.
What on our side could be doing this?
I no. I thought that with the eye in the sky and the connections to Baelor that we would find the route here. I'm at
Boudica comes back in the tent.
Oh. Yes.
I say you should fight it. If this is what is going to destroy this place, or if this place is doomed from the start, but that the solution is on the other side, then why don't you give them more time?
I want to give everyone more time. Is this why you prefer not to come here?
I came here because I had no other choice. I'm not one of you. I'm not born with divine power. I had to work and I had to bleed to get to where I was. And I was told that I would have everything in the afterlife, and that I would come back and maybe be allowed to lead a normal life for once. And that didn't happen. And I tried to stop it. You heard them around the campfire earlier. Those of us who aren't divine, we can't do anything. We can't even see it. Or we can see something, but can't charge at it. However, you lot can. Now the question is are you going to tuck tail and run because Daddy told you so? Or are you gonna listen to the blood in your vein and actually do something? What would the Morrigan do? I know what she did for us. So what would she do for her own?
She brought you here.
Aye.
You're sure it was her?
A beautiful and scary woman astride a chariot driven by the biggest war horses I've ever seen in my life. She didn't need to wear armor. She didn't even need to have a weapon. But I know who I saw. I fought, skirmished with your people before. Not as much as we did the Romans, but I can recognize the Morrigan when I see her. And she wasn't alone. Villainous was with her. And it's the two of them that got us out.
Boudica, I want to be very clear with you. There are a lot of things I still don't understand. And my divinity does not give me all the answers. But I would not neglect the people here. Period. I would not turn tail and run. That is not what this is about. This is about how best I can help every soul still here. And I'm not sure I like you. You keep challenging me, and not in a good way. But when we get out of this and we get you home, you can try some normal things. And I'll treat you to some Lebanese food. That was the first meal that I had in that world. Now, if you will please allow me to continue strategizing with my companions.
Strategize away then. And she's going to leave the tent again.
She also makes a very good point.
So we're gonna fight this thing, right?
If we didn't fight this thing, I don't know who I am.
On another point, other than fighting this thing, we can at least figure out, like, it might give us some idea what's making all this happen, maybe.
I still can't shake the connection to Baylor, and Dee's right. This might be a clue.
If this thing, I mean, even if this thing isn't itself or smart, it can maybe give us an idea what. If it is a symptom of something, we can maybe figure out what's causing it. What caused it to come here. And we
So
can
are
really
we-
do that by looking at it and maybe subduing it.
Subduing it. So are we gonna fight it here? Or are we gonna try to tempt it up to the above ground?
Here we have allies. I'm not sure how they can help. Especially if they struggle to see it.
They all struggle to see it. I haven't asked the Fomori.
That was... Do you think you can continue their relationship with them, oh great Loki?
Well, I can certainly try.
I think we have a few goals with them. 1. Make a new home here. At least temporarily. And while you, oh great Loki, address what is going on in Valhalla. It's mostly true.
Yeah.
Then,
That's true.
I mean, these aren't exactly normal times, so unusual actions for unusual times.
allow them to, or encourage them to ally with the people here as best as possible. Try to convey that what is going on is a spat between the gods, and that they, for self-preservation, ought to make the most of this.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is why you're the
Pillaging-
strategizer.
Yes.
Uh,
Pillaging is survival, but also banding with another group against something is also survival.
That's true.
and learn what we can about this Balrog. If they know more, and frankly, if they would be able to help in any capacity, whether it be helping provide traps, information, abilities, combat itself, we need to know. Because the fact is, they know they're dying. They haven't realized how dire it is for them here and how hard they will still need to fight to survive, but they're fighting the wrong people. If we can create that tentative peace for however long it holds off more deaths, more disappearances, it buys us time for both sides. And it sounds like ice could be very helpful in whatever lies ahead for us. What do you think?
Think it sounds like a plan. All we can do is try.
D?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and no one asks me my opinion, says JD.
I was gonna ask you to hold the camera.
Of all of us here, I might be the one with the most experience. You want me to
Doing
hold
what
the camera?
exactly?
Hunting them down.
Oh, so you actually want to play now?
Listen, it might just be your impassioned speech about helping lost souls. It might just be because there's nothing else to do on this island. But yeah. We can't let all of them disappear for no reason. Not if we can do something about it. And
I'm not gonna lie, I'm very happy to hear you say that. And then Morning like throws her arms out.
he like gets up tentatively and like hugs you back. He's like, yeah, look, I'm gonna do this once, right? It doesn't mean that I'm out of retirement or that,
Okay.
you know, it's just we're stuck here. Might as well make myself useful, you know?
Okay. But you're doing the right thing and I'm proud of you.
Yeah, we won't say you did anything heroic.
There's probably not going to be a lot of heroism. Hope you all brought a second pair of pants. And on that, we're going to take a short break.
Wear pants. Morning is always in a dress.
All right,
Okay.
let's just take 5. I need to grab some more water. And
Sounds good.
now that the early strategizing phase is done, we'll see where things go from here for our Scions.
Okay.
So let's go on break, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes, everyone.
They see it fly, I think. Like, one
Hello.
of them is very still.
We are back. We were distracted temporarily by the kitty in back of Renee.
Kitty.
So, strategizing, at least the early phases were done.
Cool.
Taliesin has not returned to the tent. He has left you alone. So what's the plan? Like, out of game, step by step, what do you intend to do?
Ooh.
Just so I have an idea.
I think we're going to try to convince the Fomori to fight for us against the Balrog. Or with us, I guess.
Yeah, and we didn't actually specify, but Hannah, do you think it would be better for Morning to go with Kieran or for Kieran to try and do
I think
that on his
Kieran
own?
can try to do it on his own because it'll be harder to explain a second person being there, but I would definitely appreciate the potential of backup if you guys could be like in the wings. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's probably step one, is have that conversation because we might learn more from them. Like, for instance, if they can see through the fire, then that might inform what our step two is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Kieran, you're up.
All right. I would like to return to my brethren, the Fomori, at the shore. What are they up to?
They've actually built one ship by the time you were gone, which is something that normally would have taken, days or weeks of work.
That's impressive. Fomori! My brothers, your god has a question for you.
They turn around to you. Mighty Loki, where have you been?
I needed to take a bathroom break. On this island, there is a great force, a force of nature, a force of fire and smoke. Have you been able to see it?
Someone goes, yeah, once.
Once. When was that?
When we landed, Mighty Loki.
So you can see it then?
Smoke and flames. And it ran away from us.
It fled from you.
Yeah.
Well, that's excellent. Because I have some unfortunate news. Loki has been away for a long time and is just now getting caught up on everything that's going on. And as it turns out, once you leave Valhalla, you have to prove yourself again to get back in. Fortunately for all of you, this beast of smoke and fire on the island is just the type of challenge that you need to earn your spot back in Valhalla. However, you will have to live out the rest of your natural lives here, which means that you'll have to get along with the people who live here, or else all the good that you've done in defeating this beast will be undone, and Valhalla will no longer be open to you.
Live with the puny ones?
Yes, live with the puny ones. But first you must defeat the beast.
And then again, questioning giant just raises his hand.
Yes.
Can we herd them like cattle?
Herd them like cattle. No. I would recommend against that. They're not cattle.
Can they do our bidding like slaves?
No, no slaves. No slaves.
And this gets us into Valhalla.
Right. You have to prove yourself as both a fighter and a lover to get into Valhalla. Once you leave, you gotta do double the work to get back in.
We have
I don't know
to
why you
love
left. You took
them.
it on your own. Exactly. You took it on your own. Exactly. You took it on your own initiative. You followed my brother out here. I cannot speak for the wisdom of any of that. That's not on me. That's on my brother. That's on you for deciding to follow him out here. But now that you're out here, you have to do twice the work to get back in, and then you'll get all the rewards.
We need a minute.
You need a minute, okay?
And like they all like huddle together and talk for a bit. And then when they break off the circle, the fisher giant, steps up to you, towering above you of its, 12 feet of mass. And he looks down and says, "For Valhalla."
For Valhalla.
Well, you heard mighty Loki, brothers. Stop killing the wood. We're now killing fire. And everyone is confused.
Don't look so confused. You'll be joining me and other great warriors to take this on. Loki will be fighting at your side. How can you lose with your god there?
You're right. But what would you have us do, mighty Loki?
Take up arms against the fire, against the beast that is destroying this world.
And they stand still for a moment before just turning to the woods and blindly charging in.
No, wait, where are you going? Wait, hold on.
They stop.
We have to strategize first. You can't just blindly go in.
You told us to kill the fire beast.
Yeah, I told you to stand with me to kill the fire beast. Did you miss that part completely?
They shuffle back.
Thank you. Okay, we gotta
Around you.
strategize first. Exactly. Now I've got other great warriors with me who are come on. come join me, other great warriors, please, God.
You're speaking about us?
Yes, you.
Yes. Morning will step forward.
Now, we will be fighting with you, but we all must figure out how to approach this. Now, tell my fellow warriors everything that you know about this fire beast, having encountered it once before.
It ran away.
I imagine
So-
it found you
Yeah,
very fearsome.
they got to the beach. The fire was like in the woods. They could see it. They disembarked from their ships and the fire just left. That's what you gather after, several minutes of them repeating how the fire, cowered before them. But
Right.
essentially, they didn't do anything. They didn't even poke it or prod it or approached
Just
it.
ran away.
Yeah.
So your dad said that anytime there was a person out and about, the fire would be drawn to it, but it seemed to not be drawn to them. So either it has no interest in them, or there's something about them that pushes it away.
Simon, when we're looking at these creatures, do we have any sense of divinity?
You all have sent the divine. They do not smell of divine.
Okay.
They smell of salt water and rot.
Okay.
Pleasant.
Sure. I will say the great Loki has informed us of the situation at hand, and I believe this garden could be a suitable home for you as you seek to attain entry to Valhalla yet again. We are ready to fight alongside you if you will have us.
Mighty Loki said we had to.
Mighty Loki is wise.
Aye, he is. And we're not saying that because he's right there.
Mighty
Neither
Loki's
am
also
I.
handsome.
Don't push it, Loki. No, just kidding. The morning would not
The
say that.
fisherman looks at you and goes, something, something, eye of the beholder.
Oh. Oh no. Oh no.
Okay. I think there's a small crack in Morning's Warrior Queen facade at that for sure. But she quickly tries to compose herself again. And says, who knows? Perhaps you will prove yourselves quickly enough that you will be able to return sooner than you had hoped. And I'm sure that Loki has your best interests at heart.
Aye. He never would betray us, right?
God.
Course not. Have I ever betrayed you before?
No.
Someone's about to speak and the fisherman just goes, never, my god.
We will see that you return home. For now, we seek to battle.
To battle! And the questioning giant again. Where? I mean, where do we have to go?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. We march to the camp in the north.
I got a bad idea.
Oh?
It said, like, right, just send someone out there. It appears.
Right,
You
but it
wanna
hasn't
use
come
bait?
after us yet.
How about you send D? D is bait. D doesn't look incredibly threatening.
We could. We could set a trap.
Who would we send?
I'll point at D.
You're okay with this? I know it's your idea, but
I mean, I can run. I mean, I can turn to, like, the fox. The fox will give me, like, turning to fox will give me at least a few seconds to run, have it be confused, make it some distance.
all right.
We'll see from there.
Not only that, but she's got the pantheon it's least likely to be familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. All right. D.
Yeah. Because you know what? This is my part, because sure as hell they are not going to buy it that I am a great warrior. So let's do this. Oh.
Let's do this.
Just so we're clear, out of character.
Yeah.
This is it. This is where you're not waiting any longer. You're putting the plan in motion right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
We've got giants. I'm just going to go over it really quickly over at the table. We've got giants. We've got big sword. We've got a decoy. And as far as we know, the humans can't see the creature, which does put them at a distinct disadvantage in whatever battle we face ahead of us. So I do believe we are ready to move forward. We just need to know where this thing is, and if D is that solution, the fight begins. We have ice on our side. We have giants on our side. We've got my big sword still on our side. All that's good, right?
all right. Then D,
Yeah.
Can I get to attract the present survival?
Present survival. Okay.
Yeah.
Not the worst. Just look as
And
much
I mean-
like a prey animal as possible. That's all
Mhm.
I gotta do. 4
Oh.
successes. D is
Ooh.
very good at that.
Yeah, so not only will you serve as bait and attract the attention of the creature, but because of all of your successes, like, you have ample time to react
Mhm.
however you want. You basically make your way through the woods. And do you remember when you went south from the camp where you found Boudica? There was like this section that was charred, almost like molten lava had gone through. Had gone through. You're basically around that area, sort of veered off from this path, knowing that that creature was there at some point, and then just, you know, pretended to be an innocent lost soul. Until you finally feel it in your chest, like the bass and the tremor of a step.
D no longer thinks this is a good idea. D thinks she started down with this like can I really get away?
Then there's
We'll see.
another one, and another
Okay.
one. And you begin to see, in between the trees in the distance, there's like this veil of black smoke.
Cool.
It's so thick that it looks more solid than vaporous.
Mm.
And through it, you, as a divine being, can see the Balrog in all of its might. If you're on, I'll send it like that on our Zoom chat, so y'all, if you still have your credentials for Legend Keeper. But basically, imagine this creature made of lava, fire, and molten stone.
Mm-mm.
It's got a head that is reminiscent of a gorilla, but
no.
it is, the mouth is filled with fangs, so much so that some of them actually grow from like under its eyes. It's got inverted bat-like wings that are way too small for its frame. Powerful arms just covered in spikes. The legs of a bovine, like a minotaur. It's carrying with itself along itself like a halberd made of molten rock. And in the middle, so if you're on the Legend Keeper, you won't see that part, but in the middle of its chest is a giant closed eye. Like, you just see like the eyelids closed.
Oh.
And it's got a tail, like a long, spiky tail that ends in a mace-like stub with spikes. And it peeks through the smoke. And it begins to rush toward you. You have ample time to react because, of course, what you rolled.
D, I think how she's gonna do it is she's going to like just take a quick look, but then pretend that she's walking the other direction, trying to like get away from it. So she's gonna wait until the very last second, like until maybe it takes a swing to turn into the fox and just like maybe run through its legs.
Oh, okay. Then I'm gonna ask you to
Cool. That's how D gets killed.
You've got 3 stamina, so I don't have to ask you anything, but you wait until it swings.
Yeah.
So it will eventually go all the way up to you, like rush at you, and swing its like glaive wide, chopping down trees in just one swoop. And I have 4 successes and you have 3 stamina.
Cool.
Which means that you are going to take like a bruised injury. You manage to transform into a fox, but not before like the hit probably like singed part of your hair, like your human hair.
Yeah.
And even as a fox, there's now like a line, probably like along like in back of your ear and down to like the shoulders that is missing. So your bruised injury is just singed.
Yeah. Just tearing ass in the direction of my friends. It's like, oh god. Now it's for real. Now it's for real. It's like running. Run as hard as you can.
Okay, you've got a dex of 3.
Do I get anything for like being a fox?
Yes, actually, because you are a smaller creature. I just have to get JD's tag for metamorphosis. You get any complications, but you would also get... So, can you roll... Let's go with Dex and Close Combat. I'll be right back. But add yourself to... Like, if you have a success, you have 2 extra.
Oh, okay.
When you're scaring me.
These are not my good things.
Don't forget, we have 1 momentum you can use.
Okay. I'll use it. Just... I've got singed. Oh, close combat. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Alright, 1d10. No. Okay. 1 success. It's more than I was expecting from my rolls.
That's just something.
Well, you know, it's gonna look it's gonna look it's gonna look for real because it is for real now. No, it's
1 success is enough. 1 success is enough for you to run away. To barely avoid, like the backhand swing, the backswing of its glaive, and it begins to give chase. This is like, and I think Dee probably has seen the movie. But this is very much like Dr. Malcolm running away from the T-Rex with the flare.
This is a lot like, yeah.
Like, you're always barely far enough. And eventually, everyone else... were you still waiting, like, by the beach?
I assumed that we were going to be, like, waiting just out of eye shot of wherever we left Dee. We wouldn't just leave her.
No, we wouldn't. But I do think that we tried to get the Fomorians to like hide and prepare for an ambush. We used the word ambush because we thought that might make them excited.
Can you both roll Dex and Subterfuge? I will roll for our friends, the Fomori, who have 1 success.
Yeah.
I will also roll for JD.
JD, please. JD.
It's a specialty. Like, he's a hunter. He's good at hiding. So 4, 3, 3, 1. What about that thing?
What thing?
Well, the Balrog, I need to see how easy it will spot you.
Oh, how easy it will spot. It's not that difficult. How easy. God damn.
Yeah, the moment that it approaches, that you feel the ground shake, the Balrog leaves D and just sidesteps and chops bisects a giant that was hiding behind a tree.
Oh no.
Like both the tree and the giant.
Oh no.
And then it lifts its like glaive high, roars, and we're gonna fight it next episode.
I knew we probably would. It would be way better to have Finbar with us.
Hell
but
yeah.
also-
Is its glaive also on fire, or is it like a metal?
It's
thing?
just molten rocks. I'll put
Fuck.
the image in.
Oh, I see it, but like it's like the glaive on fire because I was hoping it wasn't.
No, it's pretty much just like molten rock.
It's a lava beast. It's a lava beast.
It's a
Oh
lava
boy,
beast.
we love a lava beast.
I don't. He doesn't.
It's going to be fun times. By the
For
way,
who?
we are everyone involved. So we are going to quick announcement. Skip next week. We'll be there on the 17th, I believe, because we're missing someone next week, and I would like everyone to be there for the fight. Does that work?
Appreciated.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So on that, let's do our outros. Everyone, tell us who you are, where we can find you, if you have anything else going on that you want to plug before the inevitable death of your characters in this island. We'll do the reverse order that we did the intros, and we'll start with Morning.
This thing may have a big glaive, but my sword is bigger. And even if it's not, I can swing it harder. So, watch that not be just talk when we return in 2 weeks. I'm Renee Rhodes. I played Morning today. We both use she, her pronouns, and I have so much fun with this game. I've been so curious to find out what happened since the Giants knelt to Kieran. So thank you all for being here and supporting the show. Finbar, we miss you. See you soon, Kai. And also, please follow along with this wonderful cast. They're in a lot of wonderful shows, and I so hope that you will support them. I'm around doing this show on Saturdays and also a Kids on Bikes game on Tuesday nights Eastern Time on the Girls Run These Worlds channel. I do varying other projects. You can learn more about them on my Twitter, RayDeanneR, where I also post pictures of my cats, who are very good huntresses this episode.
Thank you for coming, Renee. Up next, Kieran.
I am Kieran in this game. I am Hannah. You can find me on Twitter at HanimationArt and everywhere else at Hanimation Studios. Or if you want to check out my shop, that's hanimation.shop. See all the cool, fun, cute things that I sell. You can find me usually a Saturday night at Praxagor Thesmophoria along with Lynn for some fun D&D. Not tonight, but I won't be there next weekend, but Lynn definitely will be, so you should check that out. On Thursday nights, you can find me here on the Wandering DM channel for some Hill County horror. We got some terrifying things going on, and I cannot wait for next week. And then, again, you can find me usually here Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern for some Scion. Super looking forward to the next time we play. Let's get this lava beast.
Thanks for coming, Hannah. And last but not least today, D.
Oh, this is so much fun. I can't wait to see what to do next week. And yeah, D, the second she saw that, it's like, oh, that kid was right. It does look like that. It's like, oh no. I think she was hoping it didn't, but like, oh, that is 100% what it looks like. But yeah, I'm Lynn. Gremlin art pretty much everywhere on socials. You can find my art there. And next time you'll see me is on Thursday on the Amphitheater for Blood In, Blood Out, our Blazing Dark game where my character died and came back as a vampire. And now we're going to go hunt her, the person that betrayed her. So that should be fun. And yeah, and then after that on next week on Practice That's Fortune, we will be doing, Song Captain's Fortune, where we are still at a party, and we're going to have another fight there. All the important people are in a very small room. I'm afraid for some of them.
Thanks for coming, D. And I'm Simon, again, at Wandering DM. You can find me over on this channel on Monday at 8:30 p.m. as we kick off episode 2 of our Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle Montreal by Night. I've already made my players utterly hate an NPC after saying 2 lines, so that's a thing. Then on Wednesday for I think we're nearing the end of Upon the Exumshire Moor over on Laugh Love Lindy at 8 p.m. Eastern. where we play a game of Good Society, which is turning into the Not So Good Society. And then on... My god. Where else? Oh, on Thursday, here on the channel, I'm not in front of the camera, but I'm producing a horror show GM'd by Marlo Bogwitch, which is called Hill Horror Country. It's a horror game that takes place in the quiet hills of Texas, using the Quietus system, and the shit just got real this week. And that was our midway, so there's still 3 more episodes left. If you want to get in on the action, the VODs are going to be available this weekend for you to catch up on it in time for this week's session. On that note, thank you for coming, everyone. Thank you, players, for taking time off of your Saturday afternoon to come play with me. And we will see you all in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.